right, the meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. Compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Hamilton Gazette, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office buildings in Atlantic City, the Stillwater Building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. An opening prayer.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to collaborate and learn from each other. May our gratitude create an atmosphere of positivity and mutual respect. Guide our hearts and minds as we begin our meeting today. Amen.
Amen. All right, please rise and face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Chairman Commissioner Gatto is attending virtually today and will be a few minutes late.
Thank you.
Bertino,
Here.
Burns,
Here.
Coursey,
Present.
Gatto, Kern,
Here.
Parker,
Present.
Risley,
Here.
Ruffio,
Here.
Days.
Present. Commissioner Coursey, it's great to see you here in person with us. Thank you.
Good to be out.
That's great.
Thank you so much.
Commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from April 1st, 2025. I will entertain a motion to adopt the April 1st minutes as presented.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Ruffio,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Anyone attending in person who would like to speak regarding an agenda item or a public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and the town where you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. If you're attending virtually and would like to speak, please raise your hand during the agenda item or a public comment at the end. I will call upon your name and a request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. Let's get to the agenda. Bond ordinance number 1.
Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements for fiscal year 2025 by and for the Atlantic Cape Community College, appropriating $2,820,126, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,820,126 bonds or notes of the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, for financing such appropriation, the principal of and interest on the aggregate principal amount of which will be entitled to state aid pursuant to Chapter 12 of the Laws of New Jersey of 1971, first reading.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? All right, so this is the first reading. There's no public comment, so please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Ruffio,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Bond ordinance number 2.
Bond ordinance providing for various 2025 capital improvements and the acquisition of various capital equipment by and in the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, appropriating $23,300,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $22,135,000 bonds or notes to finance the part of the cost thereof, first reading.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Again, this is first reading, so there'll be no public comment at this time. Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Ruffio,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Moving on to capital ordinance 1.
Capital ordinance providing for various capital improvements, equipment, and furnishings in and for the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, and appropriating $4,342,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund and/or the Capital Surplus Fund to pay for the cost thereof, first reading.
Moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments at this time? Again, this is a first reading, so there'll be no public comment. Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Ruffio,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 148.
Annual Open Space Trust Fund Tax 2025, final reading.
Moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Ruffio,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 213.
Grant application and acceptance from the Firehouse Public Safety Foundation for new equipment for the county's dive team, amount not to exceed $17,790.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Ruffio,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 214.
Amending Resolution Number 15, adopted on January 21, 2025, a grant from the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Aging Services for the fiscal year 2025 Older Americans Act Area Plan Contract Grant Funding. Net increase $11,166.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 215.
Amending Resolution Number 285, adopted on June 6, 2023, a grant from the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the replacement of Clark's Landing Bridge EHC 06 and Bungalow Park Bridge EHC 08 project to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Move.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 216.
Professional Services Agreement with Atlantic Care's Physicians Group and Health Med Associates, PC, doing business as Health Med Urgent Care for the provision of post-offer pre-employment physicals and associated diagnostic testing, amount not to exceed $43,270.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 217.
Renewal competitive contract with Royal Printing Service for the provision of election ballot printing services for the 2025 elections, amount not to exceed $812,000.
Move. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 218.
Resolution consenting to the assignment of an agreement from Partners Pharmacy to PharMerica regarding the provision of pharmaceutical services at Meadowview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, no cost.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Anyone from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 219.
Bid contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for on-call maintenance for surfacing, amount not to exceed $1,437,700.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 220.
Change order number 1 and final, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for the roadway improvements to Mill Road, County Route 662, Sections 1A and 1B in Egg Harbor Township, net decrease $16,232.75.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comment?
I think we had a change order just for Ernest Corsi being here today.
I was-
And it was a decrease.
That was a decrease. I was amazed.
And welcome back, Commissioner. That's just-
Thanks, Maureen. Let me get you back.
Any other commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 221.
Cooperative purchasing agreement through the National County Purchasing Alliance with 84 Lumber Company for the purchase of lumber and building supplies, amount not to exceed $100,000.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 222.
Resolution authorizing the sale of surplus and obsolete equipment through an online auction.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 223.
Interlocal agreement with the City of Summers Point concerning pedestrian improvements within the county right-of-way of Shore Road, County Route 585.
Move.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker, Grizzly,
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. It's up the rhythm. Resolution, what was I changed out? 224.
Resolution authorizing the town of Hamilton to enter into the Atlantic County Commodity Resale System Agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly,
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 225.
Agreement with Cape Atlantic Soil Conservation District to provide technical assistance on soil conservation projects, amount not to exceed $20,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly,
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 226.
Shared Services Agreement with the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission, Youth Justice Commission for the provision of management services at Harbor Field Juvenile Detention Center, amount not to exceed $4,273,347.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? All right, any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly,
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 227.
Professional Services Agreement with MRL Consulting Limited Liability Company for the provision of Prison Rape Elimination Act auditing services, amount not to exceed $5,910.
Move.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Anyone from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey.
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly,
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Chapter 159. So I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 228 through 229, chapter 159s.
Move.
Second.
And seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly,
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. All right, I'll now entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 230 through 231, roadway solicitations.
Move.
Second.
No, just
30, wait, I messed up. Sorry, appointments. Sorry, I misspoke. 230,
at 2:30. Wow.
230, 231 appointments. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
Didn't happen.
I'll go backwards. I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 230 through 231 appointments.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments on appointments? All right, any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly,
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes, blame that on my fuzzy contact lenses. All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 232 through 235, roadway solicitations.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly,
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Commissioner-sponsored resolutions. Resolution 236.
Resolution recognized in April 2025 as Community College Month, sponsored John W. Risley Jr.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments?
Sure, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Risley?
Thank you. As you know, in this particular agenda today, we've appropriated money through bonding for various improvements to our community college. And I think we're all very proud of it. It's been run very, very well, in my opinion. Now we have a baseball field. I know they're doing different upgrades to the facility all the time. And that just doesn't include the main campus in Mays Landing, but that also includes the Worthington Complex in Atlantic City. The upgrades are being done all the time, and we need as a body to promote our community college. You know, there are so many people that, for whatever reason, think that their son or daughter has to go away to a four-year college to have the experience. Well, that experience is very costly. very costly. If you're talking about investment, it's a huge investment. And I think that the investment is much better spent here in Atlantic County. Let them go to a community college for the first 2 years, figure things out, and then go from there. We need to talk up our community college because we're proud of it. I know a lot of us have attended there at various times in our lives, and it's a good school. I'm proud that we have it, and we should embrace it and embellish it any chance we get. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioner comments?
Commissioner,
Commissioner Parker?
Mr. Chair, just one thing. We still have the 3-in-1 program.
Yes,
Yes. So you could actually do 3 years at the community college and 1 year at a
Yep.
4-year school and receive the same degree.
that's correct. And we have one of the major colleges on campus there, Rutgers.
Yeah, I just spoke with a parent that the child just did that, actually. Just compliment how great it was.
That's awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Commissioner Corsi?
Chairman, just echo on what Commissioner Rizzi talking. Correct. A lot of improvements is going on over at the college. However, as he's indicated, we've got to boost that college. Enrollment is down.
Yes.
So bad.
It is.
We're pumping a lot of money into this community college. We're not seeing kids coming to the, not kids, but adults coming to the college taking advantage of it. So I don't know. We talked about the marketing over and over and over and over. Seems like since we talked about the marketing, it must have went down. It's still going up. How we continue to try to get folks to send their kids to community college. And I'll tell you, my kid wanted to go away to college. Right? Goes away to college. Yeah, man, I want to come back home. Why you want to come home? Might want to go to community college. We should have thought about that before you left.
Yeah.
Right? But you got to get that experience and kind of figure out what you really want to do. And in this day and time, stuff is so expensive.
Yep.
Y'all talking about groceries expensive, et cetera. College is expensive, but do the community college. Get your foot in the door and see if you like it. So I said all that to say, I don't know what the next plan for community college with Dr. Dobb and them in terms of trying to increase the numbers over there. But if you look at it, it's not going up at all. It continues to go down. How do you stop the bleed?
It is a nationwide phenomenon as well. That I know. It's not just here. It's nationwide.
I think we need to take a look at, just from the educator standpoint, we need to take a look at as adults on how we're preparing our children to make those decisions. Because I know that a lot of kids are not prepared to make those decisions by the time they're graduating high school. They don't really have a real concrete clue of what they want to do with their futures. So it sounds good. They want to go away to this big school, it sounds good. And then they get out there and realize that maybe that's not for them. But like you said, they should have thought of that before they made that investment. But a lot of kids are going into school, no majors, getting into school, coming out of school, no majors, and spending 4 years and 3 years in school with no major, and no real concrete idea about what they want to do once they come out of school. And even for my son, he just graduated recently, 4-year degree. Came home first day. I said, "No, what do you want to do?" He's like, "What do you mean?" "What do you mean? What do I mean? You spent 4 years in college. You must have a plan.
Come home.
the plan was to come home." And so that's a story that I hear more and more often. Not just with my son, but I'm hearing it more and more often.
Right.
So maybe we need to take a look at what we're doing, even on the education side. We have a few teachers up here, prepare these kids to make those decisions, as opposed to just saying, get good grades and go to college. It has to be a deeper conversation than that. And I think maybe we're not having it.
And then the other thing is to piggyback on that for a moment, is that when these kids go off to college and come back, they're looking for a job. There's no job. Again, you shouldn't spend $90,000 to go to college. You come home and find a $21,000 job.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know how you pay that off,
That's right.
but I'm not that. I got to talk to Rizzi when you talk about young people.
Investment.
No one's paying it off in this
I can
economy.
tell you,
Not with the market.
my kids went to community college. Both of them.
Investment in the future. I agree. The community college and trade schools, I think is it. Tara, Dr. Gobb is coming in May, correct?
Yes, May 6th.
May 6th. So this is some of the conversations we can continue when Dr. Gobb is here as well.
Absolutely.
Great. Any other commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes.
Ralphio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 237.
Resolution in opposition of the NJBPU's approved 17.23% electricity rate increases, opposition of the additional proposed 8% increase by Atlantic City Electric, expression of concern and disapproval of the NJBPU equity proposal and rise of social benefits charge plan, and urges the NJBPU to uphold their fiduciary duty to look out for the best interests of the ratepayers of the state of New Jersey, sponsored John W. Grizzly Jr.
Second.
Moved and seconded. That was a mouthful, but I think it's important that we cover all aspects of what we're all faced with. Are there any commissioner comments on this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Commissioner Risley?
Yeah, sure. This, I think, tries to express, our feelings about this topic. And the planning obviously was not there. The planning of having, generation of electricity, something that is just as important as water for us. We need electric. The generation is not there. Plants have been closing down. And of course, the silliness, in my opinion, of the offshore wind deal was a big problem added to this problem. I know the governor was pushing BPU to push this wind energy thing along. And of course, it didn't happen. And we have a situation now where we don't have enough generation going on. So Atlantic Electric and other companies have to purchase electricity, and they purchase it whatever the market is at the time. One thing that I would certainly be interested in is getting a real breakdown of the societal benefits charge as to where that money went. I've seen some data on it where it mentions that 0.00002 of a kilowatt goes to this, and 0.000 whatever goes to this cause or whatever. But I've not seen the actual dollars that the fee generates. So that's something that's troubling. I mean, the PJM failed to adequately plan, and I believe they cover a 13-state area. They're supposed to do their job. The BPU is supposed to do its job and prepare for this. We need electricity because everything runs on. You can't run your hospitals. You can't do anything. It's just as essential as water. We have to look at it as that type of commodity. So I think this resolution kind of expresses our outrage with the whole situation. As you know, there were representatives of Atlantic Electric that met with the committee of this board. They have declined coming to the full board. We tried to get that, arrange that, but they respectfully declined the invitation. So,
Respectfully decline.
yes, so here we are.
It declined.
Thank you.
Can we respectfully
Thank you.
decline to pay our bill?
Thank you, Commissioner Risley. That's, any other commissioner comments? Commissioner Corsi, yes.
So, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, we went to sign to the budget committee. We had representatives from Atlantic City Electric and the attorney from Levinson. Went back and forth, and like I said, Grizzly was more astute than I was when he started talking about all this kilowatts and all the number. They lost me. So I had to tell them to bring it back to the layman talk. Explain that to constituents that they asked the question. Grizz was right with him. He was bumping the questions back at him quick. I said that to say, when we met, and I said to them in the meeting, I said, well, why don't you come before the full board and come and make that same presentation to all commissions that you made to the committee.
Mhm.
And of course, as the chairman just said, they declined to want to do that. And what struck me more importantly was when they made the comment, we don't want to get beat up by the public. You're taking money from the public, right? And so they've got to protect their stakeholders. Our job, our stakeholders, is our constituents, right?
Correct.
So when we talk about a 17% increase, a 17% increase, at the end of the day, times are tough. Folks are gonna make a decision whether they wanna pay for medication, food, pay my rent. Oh, by the way, I better pay my electric, because the rest of that don't mean anything, because I can't keep it on, right? And so they struggle to do one or the other. And so, and I said to Lloyd Levinson, who represented Atlantic City Electric, I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not concerned about the stakeholders as much as we are concerned about our constituents. They're not getting these calls. And to make matters worse, talk about, oh, they can go on our website. The hell you go on the website if you don't understand what the hell they talk? What this doesn't mean to read what's on their website. Come talk to the public. I want to look at my accusers face to face. If you're gonna charge me, you're gonna rob me without a gun, damn, let me talk to you face to face. I probably can't do nothing about it, but I think it's a little disingenuous that they would not send a representative or somebody to the meeting. I guess they figured the room was gonna be packed. They found out it was on the agenda. Well, hell, the same people in the room are employees, so what the hell? Right? So they missed an opportunity, and no disrespect to the employee. My point was, you missed the opportunity to make your presentation. So you're hiding behind a text or email, etc. But you need to be talking to John Q. the public. So they did say, and correct me if I'm wrong, oh, we met with community group. And I swear. Still trying to figure, where did you meet? Who did you talk to? Maybe somebody in passing. But at the end of the day, 17%, 8%, whatever the percentage is going to be, it's still too much in this day and time. Everybody's trying to make ends meet. I don't care who you are. It's tough. And so we've got to send a message. Where does it go from here? I don't know. The rates are going to still go into effect, but they need to hear from us that we're not happy and we're representing our constituent. And this message is coming from us constituents in terms of where do these rates keep coming from? We keep getting hit. If it's electric now, it's going to be gas later, right? So it doesn't stop. After gas, it's going to be sewage. If it ain't sewage, it's going to be water. And so it just keeps on and on and on and on. And so I'm glad that, put the resolution on the agenda, where you go from here, whether to go to BPU, nobody's going to change their mind. But I think we made our request known. And again, Atlantic City Electric should be ashamed of themselves. They would not send at least one representative here to talk to the governing body. And so I don't know if y'all are offended, but I am.
I definitely am.
Commissioner Corsi, or anything else?
No, I'm done.
Commissioner Parker,
That's all I had. I share his offense.
Any other commissioner comments? Commissioner Bertino.
Just to add to what was an echo what the guys you all are saying. I think we talked about this before when we had the discussion about generation of electric and the state's plans and trying to pigeonhole people into a particular way of generating electricity and not looking at all options. When you pigeonhole yourself as the state directions going this way, you provide funding using tax dollars to do it, to supplement an operation like we talk about wind that would never generate enough income on its own to support itself without subsidies. It was a stupid plan that was going to fail from the beginning. It just simply was going to cost us more money. This is something that, we see in 17% plus 8, you're going to be seeing a lot more. Because without generation of energy in new sources, and there's nothing on the horizon, these costs are going to continue to escalate because they're going to have to keep purchasing from other suppliers that are on the open market. It was, like we've said in the past, I've told people, and we've all told our constituents the same, rebates, programs, everything you do to subsidize energy generation or even use. Solar, whatever you're putting out there to encourage people, incentives that they put in place, comes from somewhere. It comes from the public trough. Eventually, it gets put on your bill as a user using the service. Atlantic City Electric is going to be stuck doing it, going to BPU every year. I'm just letting everybody know this isn't going to stop. You're going to see continual increases for a while until the market catches up or generation of energy is changed to where they're allowing other alternatives to be used.
I think it's scary. I use these sayings all the time in school, and I realize how old I'm getting. But obviously the cart before the horse. They're pushing the new infrastructure. We're shutting down the current infrastructure with nothing to replace it. So I mean, it's common sense. It's scary. It's a horror movie. When you said it, but
excuse me, when you use policy and try to beat the market using policy, it isn't going to hold true 5 years from now. Sounds good today. Where are you going to be at in 4 or 5 years after your plan is implemented and you have no strategy to deviate, do something different? It always fails. So unfortunately, that's where we're at. Nobody's going to want to hear it when we get the bill at home. None of us will, but that's what we're stuck with. I'm hoping you don't have rolling blackouts. So hopefully we don't get down that bad as far as generation of energy through the grid. We'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. I think Atlantic City Electric, I have enough confidence in their transmission lines and their planning to be able to satisfy it as long as the energy is available from the generation side.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other commissioner comments? Again, I just can't stress enough that we did invite AC Electric representatives to be here today to speak to not just the full board, but anybody from the public who wanted to express their frustration, and they declined our invitation to attend. But I think it's important anyway that our constituents know that we hear them. When they come to all of us, I'm sure, and not complain and ask, how do I pay my bills? As Commissioner Corsi said, what do I do? What can we do? I know the state is looking at this as well, but I definitely want to let the public know that we hear them and we're doing what we can to try to support them. So are there any comments from the public at this time?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before you call roll.
Yes, sir.
I think it'd be the right thing to do. I want to commend Tara and her staff who reached out, set up the meetings, tried to get them to come, did an outstanding job. Unfortunately, again, they declined. To the staff.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And there were, interactions back and forth, and here we are. Any comments from the public? We're good with that? All right. Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Frisbee,
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. All right. That concludes the written part of the agenda. We have received copies of written communication and petitions. Are there any commissioner comments?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Parker.
on Atlantic Cape Community College, I'll say that they're having their 58th annual commencement ceremony Thursday, May 22nd, at 10:30 in the morning. So that's going to be on Thursday, May 22nd, 10:30 in the morning.
All right.
Also, while I have the microphone, well, I guess I'll say this one. April 15, 2025, we received the following correspondence. It's a resolution adopted by the Monmouth County Board of County Commissioners opposing Assembly Bill 4816, which would allow certain individuals on beaches for free. Also, we have our Atlantic County Firefighters Association will be holding their Harold J. Whitey Swartz Valor Awards in Service recognition ceremony. That's going to be April 16th, tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. English Creek Avenue, Egg Harbor Township, at the Tony Canale Training Center. One other thing I'll say before I get off this microphone, this month is National County Government Month. April is National County Government Month. So to all of us and all of you out there that are in the county government, happy April National County Government Month.
Hey,
That's all I have,
All right.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Parker. Any other commissioner comments? All right. Any reports of special committees of the board? Commissioner Bertino.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one, this past week, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee was able to sit down with the ACUA representatives from the ACUA. We were discussing at their presentation some of the progress they've made with the construction projects that they've been working on the last few months. We also had an opportunity to touch base a little bit on what they're looking to do as we move forward. Atlantic County moves forward with updating the solid waste management plan. I know at the last commissioner meeting, we had a resolution to hire a firm to complete that study. We talked to the board, reached out and talked to the ACUA about some of their thoughts of where they think they need to be going. The meeting was very fruitful, and we look forward to hearing more from them in the future. There was a solid waste advisory committee, a SWAC meeting where they were going to complete that same presentation later that night, but because of lack of participation from the members, they didn't have a quorum, so they're going to have to ACUA will have to reschedule that, which I'm sure they'll do shortly. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Bertino. Any other reports of special committees?
Chairman, yes,
Yes.
I do. So on Saturday, April 26th at 11 a.m., United States Marine Corps veteran Marco Polo Smigliani there will be a dedication of the Marco Polo Smigliani Purple Heart Way, a tribute to his service and sacrifice. The Veterans Advisory Board will all be there and very involved, and hopefully everybody can make it out there. And the second thing is the April 30th, just a reminder to everybody that it is our Youth Services Department is doing the Pinwheels for Protection program. When you walked in today, you saw the wonderful, beautiful little pinwheels that have been planted out there. They're at many of our county buildings, Meadowview, several of our county library buildings. And as Curtis Still said, our director in the department said it is to celebrate our children and to hope that every child has a carefree childhood and support the families and caregivers. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. Any other?
Chair, one more.
Commissioner Barker.
NJ Back, introduction to exporting. The NJ Back South Jersey Export Webinar Series will be Thursday, May 15th, 2025, starting at noon, from noon to 1 o'clock. Register via Eventbrite to receive the Zoom link.
All right, thank you. Is there any unfinished business?
I have one thing, and it's not necessarily unfinished business anymore, but it's not new either. But I want to commend our county executive, our administration, and our legal team on the pilot. That was great news, and you stood strong and put a lot of work into that. So I just want to commend everybody on that one.
Thank you, Commissioner Kern.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Risley.
I'd certainly like to tag on with the Commissioner Kern's comments. My hat is off to the administration. I certainly appreciate the gesture by Commissioner Corsi as well, opening up a dialogue. Dialogue's always important. This pilot settlement is a home run for us. Unfortunately, it took a long time. And the lesson here is, if you're right, you stick to your guns no matter what. And this board stuck to its guns on this. We did not flinch. There were voices wanting us to throw the towel in. We spent over $1 million, but no doubt the state, in their infinite wisdom, probably spent twice as much and hired an outside legal firm to oppose us. It's silly when one branch of government is suing another branch of government that can't be worked out in negotiations. It's just insanity. So after all that money is spent, we're looking at 15 plus down the road. And of course, that's real money for us. That's 15 million, is 3 cents on the tax rate. I can remember years ago, Governor Christie, at a press conference, I think I was standing about 6 feet from him at the time. And he looked me in the eye and the other commissioners that were there and guaranteed us we were going to get that particular rate. Guaranteed. It's in there, John. You don't have to worry about it. You're going to get it. Well, lo and behold, somehow it got altered along the way. It's a press conference I'll never forget at the time. But we hung in there. We did the right thing. And, Mr. Ferguson was a great player in this whole thing. And the Riccio Law Firm, it all worked out. And the lesson, as I said before, is when you're right, you're right, you stick to your guns no matter what. And we did that.
Commissioner, Governor Christie said a lot of things that didn't come out true. I think he said he was wasn't going to turn his back on Atlantic City. And then a couple years later, I think that very thing happened. But no, I mean, when the county executive texted me that the deal was in place, I mean, that was an amazing thing. I could tell he was extremely happy, and he thanked all the commissioners for seeing it through. Commissioner Corsi especially was singled out for his role in bringing the sides together. When the state went to various levels of appeal, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But Commissioner, again, thank you for your effort to make that happen. Of course, thanks to County Executive Levinson and Jerry Del Rosso and the entire administration. As Commissioner Risley said, we spent some money, but ultimately at the end of the day, the taxpayers are going to be made whole again. So based on the deal that was in place originally. So that was great news that the county executive shared with everybody. Any other unfinished business?
If I may, Chairman, if I could-
Commissioner, sure.
I want to weigh in as well. Because, interesting part, and Jerry will attest to. We went in, discussed shared service agreements regarding homeless in Atlantic City. Of course, Denny was not going to let us get by.
No.
So the conversation went from, good afternoon, I'm Commissioner Torres, blah, 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 and, then he says, well, now he starts out real slow. $14 million, you guys owe us, and you want to know how we're going to get our $14 million, and he's taking his time. Not one conversation did we talk about shared service with homeless. It never, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Then he went on and on and on. It was the right thing to do. So I'm looking at it like, and I think she got the court. Getting late, and we're in there back and forth. And so the interesting part about it was, and I want to say this record. Interesting part about it was that there was some who thought I went there as chief of staff. With the commissioner, and that was far from true. But one is a commissioner, board of commissioners, as a member of the committee.
Right.
So it came a little sticky, and I told them my dislike of what they did for the second meeting. Putting that aside, the goal was to get across the finish line. Now, how do we get across the finish line is to get the $14 million. So Jackie, how do we go back now and talk to the front office? Let's talk shop. And so I honestly believe at the beginning of the meeting, Denny didn't think it was bad, right? Mm-hmm. Then he's heard so much stuff from Trenton back and forth, this, that, and the other, and nobody seemed to could beat moving the ball. And when the commissioner came down, she said, give me a chance to go back and talk to the front office. And I still think the county exec's head is still spinning, because I don't think he expected it to come back as quick as it did, right? So in negotiations, you go back and forth. Right. But I got to tell you, Denny's a hell of a negotiator. Started at the 14, mm-hmm. But he was way over here when he got finished. And we got caught somewhere in the middle. But I think overall, the Bonnie and Jerry and the whole entire team, the legal team, et cetera, did a good job making a point for the county of Atlantic. She got it from the door, I think. But again, she has to answer to somebody else. But to get that done, it was a big milestone for the residents of Atlantic County, period. Right? It's not that you got to glow and get all people looking for headline. Don't need a damn headline. I can make a headline just by threatening parking. Right?
Yeah. Not many people would read that.
No.
So what happens is, I think it was a big win for the taxpayers for now, and I think going forward in 2026, you'll see the additional part of the thing. And Jerry, I think we need to be clear. I think in that money negotiation with the $15 million, the legal bills were paid for. Yeah. They wound up paying the legal bills. For some kind of way, Denny slid that in there too. He left no stones unturned. But that's what a leader does, right? And sometimes you got to stand alone. You do what you got to do. And you made it very clear the board of commissioners stood toe to toe, didn't throw in the towel, because folks get scared and weary and they walk away. Then he did tell me, he said, hell, you 2 years ago, we could have been had this done. But better late than never.
That sounds like him.
Yep.
It's good for the county in terms of, and the taxpayers ought to be happy because it says that your elected officials and your leadership in the county are doing their job, right? They're not asleep at the switch. It may not happen as quick as you run it, but it happens eventually. And so there's some other things that we're going to be doing with the county and with the state of New Jersey Mr. Chairman, if I could just get off of that.
Sure, sure,
One second.
sure.
Commissioner Gatto was not here, but I think most of you have seen, either read, when we did, again, the Commissioner of DCA set it up for me. We got the Commissioner of DOT to meet with us in West Atlantic City,
Right.
talk about all those fatalities on Route 40 and 322. We're trying to make some movements there. However, we went over to Cologne and Route 30. It's completed. I don't know if y'all rode through there.
Yep.
It's been restriped, it's been relit. They have turning lanes now. She beat me to the punch. I was trying to get 322.
There she is.
40 done first. But she's here.
Yeah,
She just
Hey,
popped in.
I didn't know you jumped on. You can go ahead and take it from there, but I wanted to commend her for the work she did, because she never, ever, ever gave up. Matter of fact, she showed up to meet with the commissioner, and she was waving her papers. How many times she's been trying to reach DOT to make some moves happen. Congratulations, Commissioner.
Well,
It's well overdue. I just wanted to throw that out.
No, thank you, Commissioner Corsi. Commissioner Gatto, do you have any comment on that?
yeah, apologies for coming late. As you know, I'm having some car issues today. But yeah, no, thanks, Commissioner, for helping us get the attention there. Something that Chairman Dace and I have actually been waving those papers around on for some time now at that intersection. I'm not calling it done though, because you can see that there's still a little bit of work to go out there, and the construction fencing is still up. And I did send a follow-up email this week to ask when the punch list items would be closed out. But they did hear us when we did meet that day, asking for the extra police attention out there because of the lane shift. And I did drive through the intersection several times this past week after the lights were turned, and there was a trooper stationed out there. So I do appreciate the state's attention to that, and all the work that it took from members of this board, some help from our senator and assembly persons' offices, our contacts in Atlantic City Electric, who helped us overcome a couple battles. It's been a long 7 years of trying to get improvements to that intersection. So we're close to the finish line. And I think we should go like bang a bottle against the new lights or something, and like really bring in this intersection change, because it's been a long time coming. But again, thanks, Commissioner, for all your help on that and the pilot. Appreciate all that partnership there.
Thank you, Commissioner Gatto. Yeah, Commissioner Corsi, thank you for sharing the story, your insight on the pilot negotiations as well. There's a little more involved directly. It was we heard the county executive praise you and then everyone in county, but for you to share with us what occurred at the table, I think was kind of enlightening for us to hear. So thank you. I'm sure you kept it. Thanks for the summary. Thanks for the summary of that. But yeah, and I know that several people are going to be happy about the Route 30 Cologne Avenue intersection being done as well. Is there any other unfinished business? I think we're moving on to any new business. Hearing none. Public comment. Anyone attending in person that would like to speak now at public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and the town you reside. If you're attending virtually and would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. I will call your name and a request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. Is there anybody from the public? Fine. In person? All right. And entertain a motion to close public comment.
Second.
And seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? All right. Any comments for the good of the order? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting's adjourned.